So in my last video, I talked about God giving us a hope and a future. And that's great for all the promises God gives us for the future. But what about now? I am somebody who's always struggled with fear my whole life. Well, God promises so many things to us. He promises never to leave us or forsake us. And his promises aren't just for the future, but they're for now, they're for today, they're for every day. And I love that because we don't have to wait for heaven for all the good things. God does good things with us, through us, helps us even now. And so one thing I wanted to share with you is my whole life I've struggled with fear and nightmares really, really bad. And I've tried a lot of different things. I've tried not thinking about them. By the way, don't think about ice cream. What are you thinking about right now? It's ice cream, isn't it? That doesn't work, does it? I've tried not thinking about it. I've tried, I can't even think of all the things I've tried. I've tried a lot. And I finally realized that, are you still thinking about ice cream? I finally realized that it's not enough for me to say I'm not going to think about something, but I have to be active and participate and actually fill my mind with something. And sometimes it will be a Bible story, sometimes it will be a song, and sometimes it will be verses. And I want to share some of the verses that I find bring me peace and comfort in those times where I don't have it. The first one is Isaiah 41:10, and it says, "So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will comfort you and help you. I will uphold you by my righteous right hand." So this is one of the verses that I will do over and over and over, sometimes at night, in the middle of the night, when I'm trying to get over these nightmares, or during the day when I have fear pop up. Another one is John 14:27. God says, another of his promises for his people is, "Peace I leave you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid." I love that God comes and finds us wherever we are, and he promises to walk through this life with us. There's another verse that says, nothing can separate us from the love of God, and it talks about height or depth or angels or demons or being close or far. Nothing can separate us. And that is some good news. But I have to also say, I've also learned that I can't just expect the peace to come, that I kind of have to be a participant in it. And 1 Peter 5:7 says, "Cast all your cares on him because he cares for you." So I was imagining growing up in Central Oregon, I loved to fish with my family, casting. One of the things my dad used to do with me, which was so fun when I was little, is he would, we had this kind of steep driveway. So he would get out my fishing gear and he would put weights on the end of my line, and I would practice casting over and over and over. And I loved it. I mean, I would do it for so long. I even got so good one time, I think I hit the neighbor's car or house or something across the street. But I was imagining casting. It's very active, right? When you cast, you don't just kind of go, you as hard as you can, right? And so this verse says, cast your cares on him because he cares for us. And sometimes we have to be like, God, I don't want this. I'm throwing it at you. I'm fighting. You have to fight for yourself. And part of the way I fight, again, is those verses. It's the putting things in my mind of Christ. It's the stories from the Bible. It's singing songs in the middle of the night, especially the ones sometimes I don't feel like singing, that are saying, God, you're giving us good things. And the more I sing it and the more that I recite these verses, the more I feel God's peace with me. In John 16:33, he says, "In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome this world." So God's promises are not just for heaven. I actually heard somebody say, if that's all it was about, then as soon as you accepted Christ, as soon as you became a believer, you would die and go to heaven. That's not how it works. God promises not only to give you heaven for a future, but to be with you and walk through this world with us. And I have to say, as much as I hate having nightmares and those times can be bad, they've also been some of the most comforting and times I look back with God that have been my favorite. And I kind of thought about it this way. I don't have children, but I've been around a lot of children. We never want kids to get hurt, but when they get hurt, it's an opportunity for parents to comfort them, right? And you get to sometimes literally hold them in your lap. You get to comfort them, and you experience this special bond in a way that you might not have if that thing hadn't happened. And God doesn't cause these things to happen, but when they do happen, He is there. And we can experience this just amazing comfort and amazing intimacy with God that we wouldn't any other time. He holds us close. I'm going to link one of my favorite songs. It's an old one, but it says, one of the verses says, "Sometimes He calms the storm with a whisper, please be still. He can settle any sea, but it doesn't mean He will. Sometimes He holds us close and lets the wind and waves go wild. Sometimes He calms the storm, and other times He calms His child." So listen to that if you feel like it. Okay, I found some kid jokes. Why is Peter Pan flying all the time? Because he never lands.